Welcome back to the channel. Today and for the next videos I would like to show you my collection of Disney Sorcerer epic alliances. So this is the core set, but I also have the expansions that came after, and in the next videos I will go through everything. So the first thing that I would like to tell you is this is not a kids game. Although it looks very childish with the Disney characters, etc., the game clearly says this is for more than 13 years. Which I understand. So I've tried to play with young kids and it's too difficult. Kids that are able to play things like Unmatched, they have difficulties playing this because this has like 2 more layers of complexity above a normal Unmatched game. And you can play 2, 1 versus 1, or 4, 2 versus 2. And it says 35 minutes, but I think it's much more. So let me show you what is inside the core box. So I've kept something that is very unusual to me, which is keeping these extra things on the boxes, which look like something that could easily go to trash, but I've kept it because I like. It doesn't look very good in the shelf, but I cannot throw this away because it shows all the 8 characters that comes in the core set. Maleficent, Aladdin, the Sorcerer's Mickey, the girl from the Gargoyles, I don't remember the name, we'll see inside, Sulley, Gaston, Dr. Facilier, and Ariel. Okay. Here they are again. Oh, the name is Demona. Okay. The game also brings these acrylic figures, we'll see inside, and then the cards. Each character has 10 cards, which you use on your deck, very similar to Unmatched as well. I'm going to do lots of comparisons with Unmatched because that's what drew me to this game, is the fact that it looks similar to Unmatched and the expansions with more and more Disney characters. But if you look online, you'll see there's also an app for this game, which has like hundreds of characters already. So something happened here with this game. They stopped printing expansions and they just went into the app where you have lots of characters, and here in the physical game somehow, maybe because of commercial success or not, they stopped and there are no more expansions announced. But I don't like the app. The app is completely the app is like getting money for it's another Candy Crush, the app, so I don't waste my time with that. And what's left here with the box is a coffin-like box, which has again the same things you saw before, but now it shows a little bit of the game. Summon your characters into battle, harness powerful skills and earn victory points, and overpower your foes and win. Okay, as you expect from a skirmish game. So it looks like a chest that you open by taking the lid off. Okay. Then there's the manual. I'm going to show you the manual before getting in. So this manual is built in a way like a tutorial, step-by-step tutorial. Okay, besides showing you the contents, it shows you chapters, which is teaching you to play the game in simple versions, and then when you try the game in the simple version, you move on to chapter 2. Let me just move you to chapter 2, which is playing the game again with adding more features. And then once you're okay with that, chapter 3, adding more features. And then once that goes okay, you have, I think I jumped chapter 4, there it is, chapter 4. So, and then you have the team play, which could be an extra layer of complexity. So in a game with Disney characters, you have 5 layers of complexity that you put on top of each other until you have the perfect complexity that you want. It could be the maximum, or you can take some of these layers and just play a simpler version. Which is hard for me, because if the game has this complexity, I would like to use all this complexity, but even the simpler version could become difficult. Not as much as, but could be a difficult game. So here's a quick guide for all the effects in the game. So the effects also need to go check this a lot during the game. Okay, so I will explain a bit more once you take a look at it. Now let me show you the board, as it all goes around the board. So I don't want to touch the camera, so you see there's this side and that side. There's no color differences, it's all blue, but one of the players will be the blue team and the other one will be the red team. For some reason there's a tent there. So you start with your characters here, the other player starts on that side, okay, and then on your turn you will have the chance to do 3 actions: movement action, action, which are like the attacks, and there's a skill action, which you can use the skill of the character, which are in the character sheets, not the cards. Okay. So the purpose of the game, depending on the level of complexity that you're playing, is to get a certain number of victory points, or make sure that your opponent runs out of cards from his deck. Okay, if either happens, you win the game. So the way I'm going to explain you is going to be with all the layers of complexity for you to know how deep the game is, and so for these things that you see here, if you place a character there, if that goes around and you play again with that character, you gain 1 point if the character is still there after going around all characters. It's like King of Tokyo. If you are in Tokyo, you get points. So if you get to place your character there and stay there for the whole round, you will also get 1 point, and you can do that on 3 different places. So these are the hot zones. Everyone will be trying to fight to get there, or to remove others from there and get the spot. Okay, so far this seems very basic, right? You also have the base for characters, the red team and the blue team. When I say characters, is these things here. You see? There's Maleficent, which will go around the map like this. Okay, and you put, let me show you an example. So imagine that Maleficent is playing on the blue team, why not? You need to put this not only to identify the team, but also to track her life, which is a system that doesn't work that good, because imagine that she takes 1 hit. So you need to take this, you need to rotate, you need to put it down, fit everything again, and sometimes some of them don't fit that easily, and then you put it back on the table, right? And then if he gets another hit, you go there, you adjust, okay, and you need to make it efficient in a way that it really is pointing to the right amount of life, and you put it back. Okay. After a while, you get that muscular memory to do this easily, but in the beginning it could be difficult, especially kids, because you need to make sure that they do not take the acrylic down, and it's difficult for them to assemble. So, and see, I'm trying to assemble this side here, but it's not going, so you need to have some skills here to put it in place, and that's it. If your character dies, it goes back to the respawn base, and then it's it goes back into the game, and then you will win. The team that kills it, I'm going to show you. Let me just find Maleficent here. The team that kills gets this amount of points. So Maleficent will award the killing team 5 points, 5 victory points from the 20 that you need. 5. So it's good to kill characters. Okay. So there are many ways that I could do this. So I'm just going to start taking things out of the box and just go through what comes out. Okay. So we've seen Maleficent with the base. I'm going to put it here. These are also the tokens for the points. Points to track the victory points. Okay. And then the other characters, the other acrylics are the Ariel, and she has like waves there. And it's good because you see there's the front acrylic and the back of the acrylic. So that's an interesting detail. You can see front and back. There's Sulley here, front and back. Sulley is much stronger, has 11 hit points. Then you also have Mickey. And yes, there will be magic brooms. There will be magic brooms like in Lorcana. Lorcana fans, are you there? Then Aladdin here. Dr. Facilier. The acrylics I like the acrylics. The only thing that I don't like is some of them are very sturdy, which is not this case, right? Which is not the case of Aladdin. But for example, Malefica, I cannot pull it. it's glued, or I don't know. I don't know what's happening here. So it's a different experience, and some of them even are not that good because you see, I've just lost someone, which I think is Gaston, and I don't know where Gaston is. So there you go. There's Gaston. Some of them hold in the box. Others, like Gaston, you see, it doesn't hold. It doesn't hold. So it doesn't hold. It's clearly asking to be glued, but I'm not sure if I want to do that, because because I'm going to open the expansions, if I want to put everything differently in one single box, maybe I want to disconnect them. I don't know. So I haven't glued, but you see, this happens. So look good, but in practice there are some things that doesn't work well. And I'm also missing another character which just fell through here, and it's Demona. Demona is the same thing. Seems like it doesn't hold very much. Now it's holding, but an interesting way for me to store is putting them like this, you see. But then what happens is some of them fell down. Okay, so I've shown you all the acrylics. Here they are, just showing you. Hey, here they are. Then each character will have their own decks, so I'm going to take the opportunity to explain how these things work. So if you play in 2 versus 2, you choose 2 characters, your team member chooses the other 2, so each of you will have your own deck, which is the mix of both characters. So you'll have 20 cards in your deck, cards coming from each character. So you identify the cards there, and then some cards are actions, some of them are movement cards, action cards. Okay, and I'm going to use Maleficent as an example. If you don't want to use any cards, you can just do a default movement action, which is moving 2 for Maleficent, or a default action, which is giving 2 damage. By the way, this thing here is the character sheet, which we'll go into details a little bit later, but just to explain what you see here. And then, for example, card could be Forest of Thorns as range 2, so range in the board, and you choose one. You either deal 1 damage to a rival and against immobilize, which is a status, we'll get there, or you deal 1 damage each to 2 rivals in range. So you can split or focus. And cards have repetitions, so apparently this one has not, but some of them have, like you see those 2. Chain Lightning, you choose 2 rivals. For each of those you deal 1 damage, and then to the adjacents, that's a symbol of the adjacents. Overflowing Anger, 3 damage to 1 adjacent rival, so here it's not range, you need to be adjacent. And if Maleficent is on those spaces there, yep, it deals 1 damage to each other rival adjacent. So if she's surrounded, she can area damage. And you move 3 spaces. Then if you get to a crown, you can move 1 character 1 space, so you can pull away characters. We've seen that, and there's also the dragon form. This is like the dragon fire from Lorcana. It's exactly the same, very similar art. Range 3, and you healer and deal damage. And Diablo's Flight, the raven. You choose a straight line, so a straight line here, like this, and you deal damage to everyone in that line. So Maleficent seems to be a very powerful character. And I'm going to show you as well this, for you to understand the connection between those 2. So she gives you 2 cards in the beginning of the game to your hand. She has those 7 hit points that we saw there, 7, you see, 7 hit points, and then the score that she gives. And then she has a skill that you can activate during your turn called Forces of Evil. If she is on a crown space, you draw a card for each rival you have dealt damage this turn. Put the card from your hand on top of your deck. So if you use all those magics that deal damage to this, that adjacent line, and in a straight line, etc., you can draw lots of cards in the end. But be careful, because you are forced to draw a card every turn, every time you play, right? You need to draw. It's just to confirm if it's a mandatory thing or if you can just... No, it needs to be a mandatory thing, because this game is like unmatched. It has a clock. You draw a card from your deck on the starting phase, right? So if you draw like crazy, you may you may not get the chance to draw more when needed. And you are also limited in the end of the turn. You are limited to the amount of cards you have here and on the other character +2. So you may need to discard lots of cards. So be careful with the strategy. And then one more thing. So you see here these symbols. This, I don't remember the name. The manual was mentioning that. Let's see how this is called. Is the gears. Okay, the gears. So the gears are these friendly symbols here on the corner that you see. Every card has a gear. And Maleficent deck has this distribution of gears. And these gears are, it's very relevant, but fire, heart, shell, and wind. Yeah, go figure. And so she has lots of fire. She's a fiery character. But what is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is you have the chance to upgrade Maleficent. So you can upgrade Maleficent. Once on your discard pile you have 2 cards of wind gear and 2 cards of shell gear. You can exile them from the discard pile. Doesn't matter because once they are discarded, you don't shuffle your deck again, so they are just gone. Okay, you can spend them and upgrade Maleficent to level 2. You see the difference? Blue background, and now she becomes green background. Okay, and the difference is she gains this skill here. Whenever you play or discard a spiral card, which are these symbols you get there, for example this one would be a spiral card, during Maleficent's turn you deal 1 damage to 1 rival. Okay, so it's a passive thing that you can do. Oh, by the way, so you can draw all those cards. You can then discard them up to the cards that you can have on your hand, and if they are spiral cards, you can do that ultimate damage to a character and die. So yeah, that's good. So you see the amount of complexity that I've just explained to you of all these cards, movements, points, upgrades, etc. This is definitely not a kid's game. Okay, and now I'm going to show you all the characters because I enjoy going through all these characters. So let's go to Dr. Facilier and Dr. Facilier's deck. Where is it? It's here. So Dr. Facilier, just focus here on power, so it reveals the top card of your deck. If that card is a spiral card, you gain an additional action. Okay, and then when it goes up at the beginning of your ending phase on his turn, you deal 1 damage to each adjacent rival that has at least 1 status effect. If 1 or more characters are KO'd, you gain 1 victory point. So Dr. Facilier is a good chance for me to explain you the status effects, because that's another complexity that will be added to this game. So, for example, things like parlor tricks. 1 adjacent rival gains 1 flusterers. Things like, let me show you another one. 1 rival gains 1 shrunken. We've seen something similar. Dr. Facilier gains 2 stealthy. So these are all status that you inflict on yourself or on the other characters. And this is something that it looks good on paper, but it's one of the difficult things to manage in this game, which is, sorry, I'm taking everything out of the camera in order to explain. These are the status effects. This, sorry, yeah, this, and these are the tiles for the characters. So the way you control the round is you have lots of ways to draft the characters and choose the order, etc. So I'm just going to fake here that red team will have Demona, and then blue team will have Gaston, and then the red team will have Dr. Facilier playing, and then Sulley, etc. So this will be the game order, right? And you have, and it needs to be on the side of the board for some reason, and you track whichever turn is by having that thing there, and these are the counters for the status effect. So imagine that I apply, let me see, I apply immobilized with Dr. Facilier. I apply immobilized 2 to Gaston. So this thing would come here you almost don't see, so let me just rotate the camera and take the glare out of the camera. Immobilized 2. So immobilize is a status effect that doesn't allow the character to move. So when it gets to Gaston's turn, one of the first things that happens is you take one of the counters away. So he's still immobilized. So for the next turn, he is immobilized. And then when it goes back to his turn again, you take another one, and that's it. It clears. It clears. The same thing with cursed. So cursed is cursed, and he's cursed the many rounds as the number of tokens he has on the status effect. And you can have, as you can imagine, you can be twice cursed and then one turn shrunken, which is another effect on top of it. Okay. So some characters play around with these. You can move the counters from your status to the others, or put on yours if there are good things, because there are good things. There are the shields. You get tough. So I get a shield for 2 turns, something like that. Or I can be strong, which is I deal more damage for a certain number of turns. Okay, but manage all these things and everything else that happens in the game, it really makes it super complex. I don't have any idea how could this be done, but I feel that this has been done in many ways in other games. So probably there would be some better way to do that. In this one, it's difficult to manage. It's difficult to manage. Okay, so I'm gonna put this back here and show you more decks and more characters. So now we have Sulley here. Sulley. Let me find Sulley. There's Sulley. Lots of life, and it travels by door. So if Sulley has not moved this turn, you can move Sulley to any unoccupied space adjacent to an ally with 4 or less life, and Sulley gets immobilized. So you can travel. You can be closer to someone that is need, but then you get 1 immobilized. So you don't move for the rest of the turn, but that clears. And that's it. You don't move anymore, but you are there to save him. Saving using these cards like Top Scarer, Wide Wipe, Buddy System, Wide Wipe, Defensive Maneuver, Charge, Protector of Friends. That's it. Fighter character. Okay, then who's next? It's Ariel. Where is Ariel? Sorry, it's too many things around me. Ariel is here. Oh, we haven't seen the upgrade for Sulley, sorry. When he upgrades, immediately after upgrading, Sulley gains 1 thought and 1 tough, then Sulley recovers 2 life for each adjacent ally, so it just refreshes and becomes stronger. Then Ariel, fairly normal character, and then on your turn, you reveal the top card. If it's an Ariel card, you draw that card. If it's not, you can discard it, and adjacent characters can heal for 1, or you just put it back. So she's the healer, and when she goes up, the first time any character recovers life on each of Ariel's turn, 1 character extra recovers 1. Okay, good. Then she has the trident to attack, Swift Seas to move fast, to go to those crown places. She's also a good damage dealer, okay, but she removes status effect from characters, and she also heals allies. So she's very versatile. Ariel or an adjacent character recovers 4, so yeah, leave her in the back to heal your characters, and for sure you'll be lucky. What else here? Next one is Gaston. 10 lives, so another brawler here. Reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a sword card, Gaston gains 1 strong, which gives more damage. Otherwise, it takes 1 damage, so be careful. I don't know how many swords he has, this doesn't say. But then whenever Gaston KOs a rival, Gaston heals, then move Gaston 2 spaces and gain 1 victory point. So the best damage dealer ever. Dealing damage, moving and removing status effect. Gaston. This is super powerful, Gaston. Yeah. Thank you, Gaston, for showing up. Then we have Aladdin. Beep, 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 beep. So Aladdin has a standard movement of 3, so it's very swift, moving around. One jump ahead, you discard any movement card from your hand to give Aladdin 1 stealthy. And stealthy is if he is attacked. In order to be attacked, the attacker needs to discard the card from his hand. So everyone will always try to avoid attacking Aladdin because no one wants to discard cards. And he also has a Thief's Cure, which is reveal the top card of the rival summoner's deck, and if it's matching that rival, Aladdin cures. Okay, and also when he upgrades at the end of action phase on an Aladdin turn, if he is stealthy, choose an adjacent guy that rival, banish the top card of their deck, and you draw a card. So because he's a thief, he has a sleight of hand. It just you are close to him, so you just lost the card because I'm a thief. Dealing damage with Street Rat Strike, dashing through. Oh, you can move. You cannot move to rivals, but with this card you can. Okay, and if you move to rivals, you just steal cards as well. So it's a stealer. Oh, there's also the magic carpet as well. Oh, the lamp. So lots of movement cards, and there's also some mixed cards. As you can see, this card could be used in either actions, moving or attacking, disarming, the street rat. Yes, all these characters look good. But still, I haven't had a chance to have a proper game played because I haven't found a group of adults that would be willing to go through. With kids, it's difficult. Sorcerer's Apprentice, Mickey. Okay, so where's the first? Let's go here. So you discard any spiral cards on your hand, and you give Mickey a broom. Broom is a status effect here. Works as a status effect, but also it's a status effect, but counts positively for Mickey. And at the end of each phase on Mickey, if 2 or more counters are placed on the magic broom, you draw a card. So you want to stockpile magic brooms because that will give more cards and your Mickey would be more powerful. So for example here, this is it needs to attack an adjacent character, right? But if he has more than 3 brooms, this thing has range. So it becomes more powerful the more brooms you have. That's it. That's a strategy with Mickey. Studied steps. Well, and it gives magic brooms. The brooms carrying the buckets. We've seen this 1,000 times. Bright Lorcana, like Lorcana decks. The brooms. I don't know why this Mickey is now becoming so famous. Lorcana gives high focus for this character as well. There's only one deck here left, which is, can you guess? Demona. So this is the character that I know the least, although I've watched the Gargoyle series in the 90s, but Demona just passed under my radar. I don't know anything. She seems to use guns. I don't remember the series having guns. If you have played 2 or more Demona cards this turn, remove all the status effect from Demona and she gains 2 strong. Okay, so she is able to get rid of status. When you discard a second card on Demona's turn, gain 2 victory points and then flip this card over. Okay. So you go, because she upgrades with less cards, she will discard faster, that's why you upgrade faster, and then the power is to gain victory points, but then you go back to having to upgrade again. Okay, so let's see how she discards that card. Deal 2 damage on range, deal 3 damage on range, choose any space on range. Well, these cards so far. Move to Move to any unoccupied space, so she can jump straight into the victory points. Move to any unoccupied space adjacent to each character. Okay, so I guess she doesn't discard that much from the cards. She will just discard by using them. Okay, and you play 2 or more because you play a movement and you play an action. Okay, so every turn you have the chance to activate this, removing the effects, gaining the strongs. Okay, and then when you discard the second card, here by this here this I think the discard here is to play the card, right? It's to play the card. You don't discard it, you're playing the card whenever you discard your second card on Demona's turn. So you need to upgrade, and then you play 2 cards, you get this, you get the 2 victory points, but then you go back and you need to at least 2 turns, and unless you have lots of cards in your hand, to go up again. So she is a grabber of points and getting rid of status effect. That's how I see it, but I may be wrong. If so, if you know, just tell me on the comments. What have we missed? I guess we've seen everything. See, the box is empty. The box is now empty, and yeah, just to give you an idea, the status effects that come on a core base are the cursed. Whenever a status counter is removed from cursed, this character deal. Okay, so it gives damage. Fluster is you need to discard the card. It's like you're confused. Immobilize is you cannot move. Magic Brooms is that specific status effect for Mickey, which allows you to see the top cards of your deck and also pumps up your spells. Shrunken is you just give 1 attack and you cannot play cards with swords. Okay. Stealthy is when you need to be attacked. If it only uses a direct attack, first banish a card. Banish is discarding. Okay, so banishing is discarding cards. So the terms here we need to change our mindset. Banishing is not killing characters like in Lorcana, is discarding a card. And then discarding a card probably is playing. I don't know exactly. Indirect effects do not cause the summoner to banish. Okay, so you can do like fireball area attacks, it still gets a hit on the stealthy character, but direct attacks you need to discard. Strong is you deal always 1 more damage, and then tough is the opposite. Is you have an armor, you get 1 less hit, and then taunt will be this character rival may only choose characters with taunt when using direct effects. Okay, so if you have like Sulley next to it with taunt, you need to go to Sulley and not to Maleficent or Ariel and wherever. Okay, so yeah, if you have the same feeling that I do, once you hear this, it looks like, wow, what an amazing game. Very complex, very strategic. Exactly. Disney characters, exactly. Not for kids. That's it. Not for kids. Let the kids grow, because there are too many things that they could do, too many ways. They need to do the combos, etc. But for adults that love Disney characters, 5 stars. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. Consider subscribing, especially because my next 4 videos will be bringing the 4 expansions, each of them with 3 characters, so I'll bring the whole collection. I hope you can consider subscribing to be part of this community, see those videos, and if you like card games or board games in general, then I truly believe you'll find interesting content. So I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you very much. Goodbye.